Stoicism, an ancient philosophy rooted in rationality, resilience, and virtue, is often misconceived as a practice exclusively suited for men, especially given its historical association with prominent male figures like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. But is this really the case? Can Stoicism be equally relevant to the lives of women, offering guidance for their unique challenges in modern society? The answer is an unequivocal yes. Stoicism transcends gender boundaries, providing tools for everyone to live a virtuous and fulfilling life. The principles of resilience, emotional balance, and self-awareness are universal in nature, making Stoicism a philosophy that benefits women just as profoundly as men. Through the course of this video, we'll explore 7 compelling reasons why Stoicism is not only made for women, but is an invaluable guide for navigating their daily lives. We will delve into practical ways in which Stoic teachings can help women balance emotional labor, navigate societal expectations, overcome gender bias, lead authentically, set boundaries, embrace adversity, and practice self-reflection. Before we begin, consider this. What could be more empowering than having a philosophy that encourages you to focus on what is within your control and helps you cultivate inner strength? By embracing Stoicism, you could learn to live not according to society's expectations, but according to your own values, finding peace amidst life's challenges. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll have a deep understanding of how Stoicism can be your anchor in a world of constant change. Let's embark on this journey together, starting with the first reason why Stoicism is made for women too: navigating societal expectations. 1. Navigating societal expectations. Women, throughout history and in contemporary times, face a multitude of societal expectations. Whether it is in career, family roles, or even personal lifestyle choices, the pressure to conform to specific roles is often overwhelming. But what happens when you step back and ask yourself, whose expectations am I really trying to meet? Are these standards aligned with my own values, or am I merely conforming to what society expects of me? In Stoicism, one of the central teachings is to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. According to Epictetus, we have power over our minds, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. For women like Sarah, a young entrepreneur mentioned earlier who constantly faces questions like, when will you settle down? Or, why not choose a regular job? This insight becomes an anchor. She learns to focus on her own aspirations rather than be distracted by external pressures. Stoicism helps women see these societal expectations for what they are: external influences that do not determine their self-worth or dictate their choices. By embracing this philosophy, Sarah and other women like her can learn to differentiate between their own desires and the demands placed upon them by others. The realization that you cannot control the opinions of others, but you can control your response to them, is liberating. So, ask yourself, are there expectations in your life that you have internalized, but that do not align with your true values? How often do you find yourself bending to the will of others, even when it goes against your inner convictions? It is not about defying these expectations for the sake of rebellion, but about living true to oneself, with tranquility of mind as the ultimate goal. How Stoicism guides you through societal pressures. In practice, Stoicism teaches us to manage our internal world, while understanding that the external world will always have its noise. Societal pressures can be relentless, but by focusing on what is within your control, your thoughts, actions, and reactions, you can navigate these expectations with grace. Instead of reacting with frustration or resentment when faced with questions or criticism about your life choices, Stoicism encourages approaching them with equanimity and patience. Marcus Aurelius said, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know anything about the subject." This is a reminder that just because something is widely accepted or expected does not mean it is inherently valuable or right for you. By reflecting on what truly matters to you and staying true to your personal values, you can live a life that is not dictated by external forces, but is guided by inner conviction. Imagine a world where women felt empowered to say no to roles that did not resonate with them, or where they could pursue paths less traveled without feeling the weight of societal judgment. What would it take to build that world? It starts with individual choices and the courage to embrace a philosophy that supports living according to one's own terms. A new perspective on expectations. Stoicism teaches that while external pressures may exist, they do not have to define you. Expectations are simply other people's opinions about how you should live your life. By recognizing this, you can let go of the need to conform and instead focus on pursuing your own vision of success and happiness. When you think about the expectations placed on you, consider how many of them are genuinely your own. Reflect on the ways in which Stoic principles can help you identify and release expectations that do not serve you. Ask yourself, can I let go of these external pressures and focus on what I can control, my own choices and reactions? As you cultivate this mindset, the societal pressures that once felt like barriers may begin to feel like mere distractions, easy to tune out as you continue on your chosen path. Let us now transition from the external challenge of societal expectations to the internal challenge of managing emotional labor, a task that Stoicism can help you navigate with wisdom and balance. 2. Balancing emotional labor. Emotional labor refers to the often unseen and unspoken work of managing others' emotions, providing support, and maintaining harmony, tasks that disproportionately fall on women. Whether it is in personal relationships or professional settings, the expectation to be the empathetic listener, the mediator, or the one who keeps it all together is frequently placed on women. The question arises, how can you manage the emotional demands of others without sacrificing your own well-being? How do you preserve your inner tranquility when you are constantly being asked to extend your emotional energy? In the realm of Stoicism, the focus is on understanding that while you cannot control the emotions of others, you can control how you respond to them. This is not about becoming emotionally detached, but about being selective and intentional with where you invest your emotional energy. As Seneca advises, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. This wisdom can be applied not only to anger, but to all intense emotions that demand an immediate reaction. Imagine a situation where you are at work, juggling deadlines, while also managing a tense family situation that requires your emotional involvement. The Stoic approach would be to first pause and reflect before reacting. This pause gives you the space to assess the situation calmly, understand where your emotional involvement is necessary, and where it might be more beneficial to step back. The art of emotional economy. Stoicism introduces the idea of emotional economy, investing emotional energy wisely. By recognizing that your emotional resources are finite, you can choose to engage in situations that truly matter while letting go of those that do not serve your well-being. This practice helps prevent emotional exhaustion and burnout, which are common when one feels obligated to be emotionally available for everyone else. Reflect on your own life. How often do you feel drained by the emotional demands of others? What would it look like to prioritize your emotional well-being without feeling guilty about it? Stoicism can guide you in setting healthy boundaries that protect your mental health while still allowing you to be compassionate and supportive. Self-care and Stoicism, more than just a luxury. Stoic philosophy places great emphasis on self-awareness and maintaining a balanced life. It teaches that taking time for self-care is not a luxury, but a necessity. Whether through solitary hobbies, physical exercise, or moments of quiet reflection, dedicating time to rejuvenate your spirit is essential for maintaining your emotional equilibrium. When you practice self-care, you are not neglecting others, but ensuring that you are in a position to help them more effectively when truly needed. This balance enables you to engage in your roles, be it at home or work, with a sense of fulfillment rather than resentment. From theory to practice, navigating emotional labor with Stoicism. The next time you find yourself overwhelmed by emotional labor, remember to apply the Stoic principle of pausing and reflecting. Ask yourself, is my emotional involvement in this situation truly necessary? Am I acting out of obligation, or is this an intentional choice that aligns with my values? By cultivating this awareness, you gain greater control over your emotional engagements, making room for more meaningful interactions and conserving your energy for situations that matter most to you. Having explored how Stoicism can help in managing emotional labor, let us now turn to another persistent challenge that many women face: overcoming gender bias. 3. Overcoming gender bias. Gender bias is a persistent challenge that women encounter in various aspects of life, whether in professional settings, social circles, or personal relationships. It manifests in subtle and overt ways, often undermining women's achievements or challenging their authority simply based on their gender. The question is, how can women navigate this bias without internalizing it? And how can they maintain their confidence when faced with such prejudices? Stoicism provides a valuable approach for dealing with gender bias by emphasizing inner strength and the cultivation of self-reliance. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself and your way of thinking. This perspective encourages women to seek validation, not from external sources that may be biased, but from within. By anchoring their self-worth in their virtues and actions rather than the opinions of others, women can find resilience in the face of biased perceptions. Turning inward for strength. When confronted with gender bias, Stoicism advises turning inward and focusing on what is within your control, your thoughts, actions, and reactions. Imagine a scenario where a woman in a leadership role frequently encounters skepticism about her capabilities simply because of her gender. Stoic teachings can guide her to find confidence in her competence and dedication, rather than in others' approval. By concentrating on what she can control, her performance, decision-making, and leadership style, she grounds her self-assurance in her own standards of excellence. This inner focus is not about ignoring bias, but about refusing to let it dictate her self-worth or dictate her path. The Stoic approach to handling criticism. A central tenet of Stoicism is the importance of rational thinking and maintaining an objective view. When faced with criticism, particularly biased criticism, the Stoic approach would be to assess the feedback calmly and determine if it is grounded in truth or simply reflects the critic's biases. As Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By viewing criticism through a Stoic lens, women can separate constructive feedback from prejudiced opinions and focus on their growth. This rational approach can also help women address gender bias without direct confrontation, if that is not the preferred route. The quiet strength of their actions and a consistent display of competence can effectively challenge biases over time, proving the prejudiced expectations wrong. The power of Stoicism lies in the ability to meet adversity with calmness, viewing it not as a barrier, but as an opportunity for personal growth and character building. Facing bias as a test of virtue, gender bias, while unjust, can be reframed as a test of one's virtues, patience, courage, and resilience. Instead of seeing biased treatment as a personal affront, Stoicism suggests viewing it as an opportunity to practice these virtues. This does not mean accepting unfair treatment passively, but rather choosing a response that reflects one's character. How might you respond to bias in a way that aligns with your principles? What would it look like to turn a negative encounter into a moment of strength? By approaching bias with this mindset, women can transform what might be a discouraging situation into an affirmation of their own values and virtues. Reflecting on one's reaction to bias allows for growth and the refinement of one's character, just as a muscle is strengthened by resistance. When faced with unfair treatment, the question becomes, how can I use this moment to demonstrate my resilience and commitment to my own standards? Creating a more equitable environment. Stoicism also encourages women to view themselves as agents of change. While individual actions may not completely dismantle systemic biases, they can inspire others to adopt a more equitable mindset. By consistently embodying Stoic principles such as rationality, resilience, and integrity, women set an example that can influence the culture of their workplaces or communities. Additionally, Stoicism advocates for viewing challenges as interconnected events within the larger tapestry of life. Overcoming gender bias is not solely about individual battles, but about contributing to a broader movement towards equity and respect. When women choose to respond to bias with wisdom and composure, they not only strengthen themselves, but also pave the way for a more just society. Turning inward for lasting confidence. The Stoic emphasis on finding strength within oneself and focusing on what can be controlled provides a powerful response to gender bias. Rather than letting external judgments shape one's self-image, Stoicism teaches women to cultivate a stable sense of self that is not easily shaken by biased opinions. This inward focus fosters self-reliance, allowing women to maintain their confidence and pursue their goals with unwavering resolve. Now, as we transition from the challenge of overcoming gender bias, let's delve into how Stoicism can help women embrace authentic leadership, a path that often requires navigating through a sea of stereotypes and expectations. 4. Embracing authentic leadership. Leadership, especially for women, often involves navigating a landscape filled with stereotypes and rigid expectations. There is a common misconception that leadership must be associated with traditionally masculine traits, such as assertiveness, aggression, or dominance. However, Stoicism teaches a different approach, one that aligns leadership with virtue, integrity, and self-awareness. What does it mean to lead authentically? And how can Stoic principles guide women in developing their own leadership style? According to Stoicism, authentic leadership is rooted in aligning one's actions with core values. It is not about conforming to a particular style or adopting behaviors that feel unnatural simply to assert authority. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This statement encourages introspection, guiding women to identify their strengths and define their vision for leadership based on what is most meaningful to them. Redefining leadership with Stoic values. Stoic leadership is fundamentally about service, responsibility, and cultivating virtues such as wisdom, courage, and justice. For women, this means redefining what it means to be a leader by focusing on qualities like empathy, collaboration, and strategic thinking, rather than merely adopting traditional leadership archetypes. The question becomes, how can you lead in a way that reflects your true self and serves the greater good? An authentic leader does not seek to impose control or dominate, but rather to guide and uplift. Imagine a woman leading a project team. Instead of mirroring the assertive, confrontational styles often associated with authority, she might choose to lead through active listening, valuing each team member's input and fostering a collaborative spirit. This approach can build genuine respect and loyalty, as it aligns with the Stoic principle that leadership is about stewarding others toward collective success rather than seeking personal glory. Navigating criticism and challenges with Stoicism. For women leaders, handling criticism and navigating challenges can be especially daunting, as they often face heightened scrutiny compared to their male counterparts. Stoicism offers guidance on how to respond to such situations with balance. Marcus Aurelius advised that If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. This emphasis on ethical behavior helps women leaders stay true to their principles, even when facing external pressure to act otherwise. When receiving criticism, a Stoic leader evaluates it with rationality, discerning whether it contains valuable lessons or is merely a reflection of others' biases. By not reacting impulsively, she preserves her emotional energy and fosters an environment where constructive feedback is welcomed. This rational approach not only helps in personal growth, but also strengthens her leadership by modeling composure and thoughtful decision-making. Authentic leadership as an expression of one's values. Stoicism encourages viewing leadership not as a position of power, but as an opportunity to live out one's deepest values. This perspective shifts the focus from self-promotion to meaningful influence, where actions are guided by a clear sense of purpose. For women, embracing this view allows for a leadership style that is not defined by external expectations, but by a commitment to embodying virtues. Reflect on your own experiences. Are there areas where you feel pressured to adopt a certain style of leadership that does not resonate with you? How might you bring Stoic principles into your leadership, prioritizing service, ethical behavior, and the development of others? A call to authenticity and resilience. As women embrace authentic leadership guided by Stoic principles, they can navigate the complexities of leadership roles with confidence and grace. By focusing on virtues and leading by example, they set a new standard for what it means to be a strong, effective leader. This is not about conforming to preconceived notions, but about living true to oneself and inspiring others to do the same. Let us now transition to another crucial aspect of personal empowerment: the ability to assert personal boundaries effectively, especially when fulfilling multiple roles in both personal and professional spheres. 5. Asserting personal boundaries. In today's fast-paced world, asserting personal boundaries is essential for maintaining well-being, especially for women who often find themselves juggling various roles and expectations in both personal and professional contexts. Women are frequently expected to be flexible and accommodating, sometimes at the cost of their own needs and desires. This leads us to ask, how can you assert your boundaries effectively without feeling guilty or facing backlash? How do you maintain your personal space while still fulfilling your responsibilities? Stoicism, with its focus on what we can control, our own actions, thoughts, and responses, offers a strong foundation for establishing and upholding personal boundaries. The philosophy emphasizes that while we cannot control the actions or demands of others, we have complete authority over how we react to them. Epictetus famously taught, "We are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens." This statement is a powerful reminder that our sense of peace is determined by how we interpret external events, not the events themselves. Setting boundaries. A Stoic perspective. Stoicism encourages self-awareness and rationality when setting boundaries. For a woman faced with constant demands on her time, energy, and attention, understanding her own limits is the first step toward establishing healthy boundaries. This requires regular introspection, where one asks, what are my priorities? What am I willing to tolerate? And where must I draw the line to protect my well-being? Imagine a professional scenario where a woman is asked to take on additional work beyond her capacity. The Stoic approach would advise her to assess whether these demands align with her own values and responsibilities. If not, then saying no becomes not an act of defiance, but a rational decision necessary to preserve her quality of work and personal well-being. By clearly articulating her boundaries, she sends a message that her time and resources are valuable. The shift from external validation to inner confidence. Many women are socialized to prioritize others' needs over their own, leading to difficulty in setting personal boundaries. This often stems from a desire for external validation, or a fear of disappointing others. Stoicism offers a shift in perspective by encouraging individuals to find strength in autonomy and to value their own judgment. The Stoic emphasis on inner fortitude teaches women that their worth is not contingent upon meeting others' expectations, but is derived from living in accordance with their principles. Ask yourself, are you setting boundaries based on your own needs, or are you trying to meet the expectations of others? How often do you say yes out of obligation rather than genuine willingness? Reflecting on these questions can help clarify whether your actions are aligned with your values or are simply efforts to gain approval. The power of no in maintaining boundaries. Saying no can be one of the most difficult yet liberating actions when establishing boundaries. For women who may feel a sense of guilt or duty to accommodate, learning to say no is an act of self-respect. Stoicism teaches that discomfort in the short term, such as the awkwardness or guilt of declining a request, can lead to long-term peace and stability. By prioritizing one's own well-being, you maintain the capacity to engage meaningfully in other areas of life. Consider the times when you have overextended yourself. Did you find that your quality of work or personal life suffered? Stoicism encourages viewing such instances as lessons, reminding you to uphold your boundaries more firmly in the future. Saying no does not equate to selfishness, but is a recognition that your resources are finite and must be used wisely. Communicating boundaries with clarity. Once you understand your limits, the next step is to communicate them effectively. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of rational and clear communication. Instead of reacting emotionally or feeling defensive when someone crosses a boundary, take a moment to reflect and respond calmly. This measured approach not only reinforces your boundaries, but also fosters respect from others. In practice, this could mean explaining why a certain request is unreasonable, or simply stating that you cannot accommodate it without overloading yourself. By communicating in a way that reflects self-awareness and respect for both yourself and others, you model a balanced approach that others are more likely to honor. The role of self-awareness in boundary setting. Setting boundaries requires a deep understanding of one's own needs and values. Stoicism teaches that self-awareness is key to discerning which demands align with your principles and which do not. This introspective process involves asking yourself, what are my core values, and how do they inform my decisions? Am I maintaining these boundaries because they reflect my true self, or because I feel pressured to conform? This level of introspection allows for more consistent boundary setting, as you are not reacting impulsively to external pressures, but making deliberate choices based on self-knowledge. The ability to recognize and communicate your limits is an expression of autonomy, reinforcing your sense of self and the respect you have for your own time and energy. Finding resilience through Stoic practices. Even with boundaries in place, there will be times when they are tested. Stoicism provides the resilience needed to uphold these boundaries, reminding you that enduring temporary discomfort is often necessary for long-term well-being. When others push against your limits, resist the urge to feel guilty or pressured to give in. Instead, remind yourself that maintaining boundaries is essential for a balanced life, and that it ultimately benefits both you and those around you. The Stoic concept of enduring hardship for the sake of virtue applies here, recognizing that some discomfort is inevitable, but choosing to endure it with strength and resolve. This perseverance strengthens your character and reinforces your commitment to your own principles. Asserting boundaries is not about building walls to shut others out, but about creating a space where mutual respect can thrive. As we move from this essential aspect of personal empowerment, let's explore the Stoic principle of Amor Fati, or the love of fate, and how embracing adversity can lead to profound growth and empowerment. 6. Embracing Amor Fati in adversity. The Stoic concept of Amor Fati, which translates to love of fate, invites individuals to embrace all aspects of life, including adversity, as necessary and valuable parts of their journey. For women who face a range of personal and societal challenges, Amor Fati provides a powerful framework for transforming difficulties into sources of strength. The question we must ask is, how can we view challenges not as burdens to be endured, but as opportunities to be welcomed with open arms? Amor Fati is more than just acceptance. It is an active love for whatever happens, seeing each experience, especially the challenging ones, as integral to personal growth. Stoicism teaches that every event, good or bad, has a role to play in shaping one's character. By welcoming all experiences with a sense of gratitude, you can turn adversity into a catalyst for resilience and wisdom. Reframing challenges as opportunities. Often, we view challenges as obstacles that disrupt our plans or detract from our happiness. But what if these challenges were seen instead as essential elements of life that contribute to our development? Imagine a woman facing societal expectations to conform to certain roles or appearances. Through the lens of Amor Fati, she can view these expectations not as unfair limitations, but as prompts to cultivate inner strength and define herself on her own terms. Ask yourself, how have your greatest challenges shaped who you are today? What have you learned from the times when life did not go as planned? Reflecting on these questions helps to reframe adversity as a valuable teacher rather than a relentless enemy. Transforming adversity into strength. Stoicism emphasizes that resilience is forged through adversity, much like a blade is sharpened through repeated friction. When we face hardships with an attitude of acceptance and gratitude, we transform them into sources of inner strength. The Stoic response to suffering is not to ignore it, but to engage with it purposefully, understanding that it is through overcoming difficulties that we build character. Consider how you might respond to future challenges. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" This shift in perspective helps to foster a growth mindset, where adversity is seen as an opportunity for personal evolution. Embracing Amor Fati means finding joy not only in the pleasant moments, but also in the struggles that contribute to your growth. The interconnectedness of events. In Stoicism, there is a belief in the interconnectedness of all events. Every challenge you face is part of a larger tapestry of your life, with each experience playing a role in the overall pattern. By accepting this interconnectedness, you gain a deeper appreciation for life's complexities and become more harmonious in your approach to challenges. You come to understand that what may seem like a setback today could lay the groundwork for a future success. Ask yourself, how might this current difficulty be preparing me for something greater? What role does this challenge play in the broader context of my life? By contemplating these questions, you embrace a Stoic outlook that sees life's trials as interconnected parts of a meaningful whole. Active engagement with life's ups and downs. Embracing Amor Fati does not imply passivity or resignation. It is about actively engaging with life, taking each experience, whether joy or pain, as an integral part of the journey. When life presents difficulties, greet them with enthusiasm, for they are what make your path unique and contribute to your growth. This proactive approach to life fosters a sense of agency, even in the face of adversity. As you practice Amor Fati, you begin to see the beauty in all of life's moments, knowing that every experience contributes to the person you are becoming. This mindset allows you to navigate life's ups and downs with a sense of grace and resilience. With a newfound understanding of embracing adversity, let us now turn to the final Stoic practice that can guide you on your journey, the art of reflection and self-awareness, a cornerstone of Stoic living. 7. Practicing Stoic reflection and self-awareness. At the heart of Stoicism is the practice of reflective introspection and self-awareness. These principles empower individuals to live according to their true values and lead a fulfilling life. For women navigating various roles, societal expectations, and personal aspirations, the ability to regularly engage in self-reflection is crucial for aligning one's life with one's deepest values. The question to consider is, how often do you pause to examine your actions, thoughts, and motivations? Are you living in a way that is true to your own nature, or are you allowing external influences to dictate your choices? Stoicism teaches that self-awareness is the foundation of a virtuous life. By consistently reflecting on one's thoughts and behaviors, individuals can identify what brings genuine fulfillment and contentment. This practice involves taking time to examine daily actions, question one's motivations, and determine if they align with core values. It is a process of knowing oneself more deeply, cultivating an inner life that is not easily swayed by the changing tides of external circumstances. The Stoic exercise of reflective introspection. Reflective introspection is a key Stoic exercise. It involves setting aside time each day to evaluate your actions and decisions, asking yourself questions such as, "Did I act according to my values today?" and "What can I improve tomorrow?" For women, this process helps to peel away layers of external expectations and societal norms, revealing a clearer picture of their true desires and aspirations. It is a powerful way to resist the pressures of conforming to roles that do not resonate with their authentic selves. This practice aligns with Marcus Aurelius's approach in Meditations, where he frequently reflected on his own behaviors, examining whether he had lived up to his Stoic principles. By emulating this practice, women can develop a strong sense of self that guides their actions, regardless of external judgments or distractions. Developing a strong sense of self. A core aspect of Stoic self-awareness is the cultivation of a stable and enduring sense of self. It involves recognizing one's strengths and weaknesses and understanding how they fit into the larger framework of life. For women, who may face societal pressure to mold themselves into certain images or fulfill particular roles, developing a strong sense of self is a form of resistance. It is about building an identity based on internal values rather than external approval. Ask yourself, are your life choices reflective of who you truly are, or are they shaped by the expectations of others? Are you living in a way that brings you closer to your ideals, or are you merely fulfilling the roles assigned to you? By addressing these questions, you can take steps to align your daily life with your authentic self, cultivating a life that is more fulfilling and meaningful. Living with a present-focused mindset. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment. Many women find themselves hindered by regrets about the past or anxieties about the future, which can detract from their ability to fully engage with the present. Stoic teachings encourage focusing on the here and now, appreciating the current moment for what it is, and finding joy in life's immediate experiences. The practice of Stoic reflection invites individuals to let go of past mistakes and future worries, understanding that these are beyond their control. By grounding oneself in the present, it becomes possible to experience life more fully and with greater contentment. Consider how different your life would be if you could live without the burden of past regrets or future anxieties. What would change if you could embrace the present moment with a sense of gratitude and acceptance? The Stoic Reserve Clause. Flexibility in pursuit of goals. Another vital aspect of Stoic reflection is the practice known as the Reserve Clause. It is the idea of setting goals and pursuing them with dedication while being open to outcomes that may differ from expectations. For women who often navigate unpredictable challenges in their personal and professional lives, this approach encourages flexibility. It teaches the importance of striving for aspirations but remaining adaptable if circumstances change. The Reserve Clause helps manage disappointments by fostering a mindset that accepts different outcomes with grace. It encourages women to pursue their goals wholeheartedly, but to understand that success does not always look the way one expects. This acceptance leads to a deeper sense of fulfillment because it emphasizes growth over rigid achievement. Self-awareness as a path to authenticity. Through regular self-reflection, women can better understand their true selves and make life choices that align with their core values. This self-awareness fosters authenticity, allowing women to live according to their own principles rather than conforming to external standards. It is about finding a path that resonates deeply with one's own aspirations and living in a way that feels true to one's nature. Reflecting on one's life is not about dwelling on imperfections or mistakes, but about recognizing them as opportunities for growth. Ask yourself, what do I truly value, and how can I bring more of that into my daily life? What would it mean to live a life where every action is an expression of my deepest values? As we conclude this journey through the 7 reasons why Stoicism is made for women too, let's reflect on the key takeaways and how they can guide you toward a life of fulfillment and strength. The journey through Stoicism reveals a philosophy that is not limited by gender. Its teachings on resilience, emotional balance, self-awareness, and virtue provide profound guidance for women navigating the complexities of modern life. Whether it's dealing with societal expectations, managing emotional labor, overcoming gender bias, embracing authentic leadership, asserting personal boundaries, welcoming adversity, or practicing reflective introspection, Stoicism offers valuable tools for living a more intentional and fulfilling life. The central message of Stoicism is clear: focus on what you can control, cultivate inner strength, and live according to your values. By embracing these principles, you can navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience, finding empowerment not in changing the world around you, but in changing your response to it. Now, we turn to you. Which of these Stoic practices resonated with you the most? How have you found Stoicism helpful in your own life, and what new insights are you taking away from this exploration? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Stoic philosophy. If you found this video valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue spreading the wisdom of Stoicism and creating a community where we can grow and learn together. Stay strong, stay true to your values, and remember, we are all capable of living a life of virtue and tranquility. Until next time, keep reflecting, keep growing, and stay stoic.